Hello, welcome to Real Magic Review. My name is Steve Faulkner. Is that a bit loud? That looks a bit loud on there. It's going up to the yellow. So welcome, yeah. I'm going to be talking about when I went street performing the other day for the first time in 10 years, something that I've said I'd never do at one point. But I'll talk about it in a second. But first of all, I'm going to tell you about onlinemagic.co. That's my online membership site. That's what it's called, onlinemagic.co, you see. I've been going for over 10 years, 900 plus videos, live sessions. I was going to say every week, but it's summer, so they're not. I haven't done one for a couple of weeks, but I'm doing one tonight on the Gadabout coins from Bobo's stunning trick. And they're all uploaded. There's something like 145 of them or something, and each one of them is about an hour or more. Right, so have a look at that, onlinemagic.co, see what all the fuss is about. Everybody loves it. This is a very last-minute decision. I didn't think I was going to have time because of all the summer madness of gigs and work and going away off to Lisbon on Monday, which is going to be very exciting. Working for on the Lisboa Festival, which have a look at that on the line. And yeah, so it's been super, super busy. But what I decided to do was, oh, by the way, there's going to be hardly anybody here because I haven't put this on social media or anything, but do feel free to comment and ask questions. It won't be a long one, but it's kind of what I did with street performing the other day. I kind of thought, I haven't done it in ages, I don't want to do it, and then I thought, but I kind of do want to do it, and things changes, but then I was really intimidated by it. And the best thing to do in that situation for me is just to do it, not procrastinate, just chuck yourself into it and see what happens. So, and I haven't done a live session for a couple of weeks as well. And it's not the same thing. So I don't really get nervous about this, but I can still kind of procrastinate about it and go, oh no, I'll do one next week. And I thought, no, just had a little bit of a nap, came into the office. I would never show you what the office looks like there because it's absolute carnage. And I thought, no, I've got something to say. Well, you know, interesting for me, maybe not you, but I think it might be useful for some people. So, because loads of people ask me about, well, they ask me about street performing, a lot of people, but I get a lot of people talking to me about fear of failure and how I deal with it, and does it ever go away, the fear of it and the failure, and I think neither of them do for me, nerves and things like that. And this was a really interesting one because I was really nervous about it, oddly. I mean, I was a street performer for a long time, and I used to do it every single day, and I used to fail and fail and fail, and it never really, I wouldn't say it didn't bother me after a while, but it was a lot easier to deal with. I think it has had an effect on me, those years that I did kind of die on my arse, and the first kind of 3 or 4 years, and I do get, I was talking about someone about this the other day, I do get weirdly triggered in certain situations because of that, and I did in this situation, really. So I found my friend Andy, who works the picture I wanted to work, and went over there. And it was a strange one because my show that works, and I know works, and builds an audience best and will get the most money and the bigger audiences is my straitjacket and chain escape. And that is definitely something I said I wouldn't do again. But I thought, no, I've got to do that because it's kind of it's a bit of a safety net. So I looked for that, so to speak. There's a bit of a gag there somewhere, isn't there? I looked for that, couldn't find it, don't know where it is, still don't know where it is, so if I lent it to you, let me know. So I had to go and do a show without a real finale, without something that I'd done before. And then I thought that was a blessing in disguise because that'll make me start building a show again, and a show that I'm proud of. So obviously I had to cut some balls, which is kind of a banker really, but not for me. I've never really been able to make it pay on the street. I made it work on the street, but not pay. So I do it at street gigs and things like that. But I had that, and I thought, right, I'm going to try a couple new things out. And I did. And it was a really interesting process. The first show, I was so nervous. I just thought, can't remember what it feels out there. And I will say, when I say street performing, this is street performing on a pitch that isn't a festival or anything like that. It's not a paid street performing gig. It's going out, stopping people that are shopping. A lot of people don't know there's going to be a show. Most people, and doing the crowd build and all that, which it's hard. It can be a really tough process. And I did struggle, you know. I went to do a lot of the gags and the things I used to do to build an audience, and I didn't feel right doing them. I kind of went, oh, no, this is icky. It's not my joke, and I'm not saying all the jokes I did were mine. So I had less to work with, but it still kind of worked. And the first show was nice. It paid okay. I was happy to get to the end of it. Second show was okay, and the third show was really, I mean, I was really bad and I nearly bailed it. And bailing it means getting halfway through and going, nah, this isn't going to work. And had there been a lot more performers on the pitch that wanted spots, I would have to give them the spot. But I used it actually to try a couple of things out. And even though, I mean, they worked as tricks, you know, people really liked them, but I couldn't get them, I couldn't find the street rhythm to do them with. One of them was Henry Harris's, what's the new one called? Not Venom Cube. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to have a look now. What's it called? The new, with a big cube. Cube Buster, yeah. Henry Harris's Cube Buster, which was, it's such a brilliant trick. And I thought it had all the things. It had the visual side of it. I had a routine. I thought I could get the crowd involved, and it did work. And I was really pleased I did that. But I came out of the show, you know, I'm someone that used to consistently get big audiences and really big, well-paid shows at the end. And it was a strange thing, because I went there thinking, oh, if I get to the end of the show, I'll be happy just to do it. And then I left going, oh, I only got that much in the hat, and it felt a bit flat, and people didn't respond to this and that. And but it goes to show, A, how difficult the street is, but also B, how important it is that whatever level we're at, and I'm not saying I'm at a ridiculously high level or anything, but at street performing, you know, I really had consistency for a long time there to actually go and feel like that vulnerability of starting again. And it was vulnerability, you know, my friend Andy was there, you know, when he started, I would sort of almost mentor him, and then he was almost mentoring me. I couldn't remember things where. I had that real weird, again, vulnerable feeling of, I can't remember where do we use the toilet, you know, all that kind of thing of not knowing, which did feel very odd at the age of 50. And then by the end of the day, starting to feel more comfortable, starting to feel like I knew where I was and settled. But I think the important thing is that feeling of when you know you've done something and you haven't hit it, which we have to go through every single time we try a new trick or a new routine. It'll work, but we know that it's never nowhere near where it's going to be. We get that feeling of, it didn't go well, I'm never going to do it again, and we have to overcome that. And I think that I drove home feeling really flat. And now, in hindsight, a couple of days ago, I was like, actually, no, it's great. You know, I had the nerve to try that thing and be vulnerable again and do something I knew wasn't going to hit and knew wasn't going to earn in front of my peers, and actually get to the end of it and go home, you know, with a bit of cash. And, you know, it used to be where I'd look at, you know, quite a substantial amount of money and go, oh no, I only made that. And this was just to sort of succeed in any way was great. So, and again, the routines I've done loads of times, but for those of you interested in street performing, it's a very, very different rhythm. You can't just take your tricks out, they'll work as tricks, but to get them to pay on the street and to get people to stay and not walk away after every trick, there's all these little tricks you have to do, not magic tricks, but almost psychological tricks and verbal communicative tricks. And when I say tricks, I don't mean like cons, I mean just processes, I suppose, in a way, not tricks, that sounds a bit kind of manipulative, but you're influencing, you're kind of getting people to stick around after each thing and and pay at the end. And, you know, it's a really hard process, but it's a doable one, and it is something you have to learn by doing. You can't really practice it before you do it. And even when you're out of practice like me, I felt, yeah, this is going to work. I just have to go through that horrible thing of spending a while not being able to do it very well, and being able to earn money doing it again. And I'm not saying it's something I'm going to do every day, but it's a great place to sort of work on material, polish different things up, and you know, if you haven't got gigs, it's somewhere to go and perform, which is such an important thing. So I just thought I'd share that with you. I'm super glad I did it. It didn't really fail. I've called this dealing with failure. It wasn't a failure at all. It was, you know, I did some shows. They were all, you know, passable. I did them. I got to the end of them. But for what I know I can achieve, it was nowhere near the kind of earnings I could get. But that's totally fine. And I think it's reframing that. It's like if you try a new trick out at a close-up gig or with friends and it doesn't feel like it's gone as well as it could have, you know, that is part of the process. There's no denying that. There's no getting away from it. And I've seen people at all levels, top professionals, do stuff that falls a bit flat, whether it's stand-up comedy or magic or theatre or spoken word or poetry or anything like that. And you can't not go through that. And once we understand that when that happens, it's okay, that's a bit of a superpower, really. And that's your kind of secret weapon to getting where you want to get, I think, with magic and everything in life. What a lovely place to finish. Right. Thanks very much. If you're interested in all the other stuff I do, follow me on Instagram at Steve Faulkner, and of course at Real Magic Review. Threads is at Steve Faulkner, just STE Faulkner, and other ones as well. Just Google me. But onlinemagic.co, go and have a look at that now. That would be lovely. And we've got a live session in half an hour, so I'm going to have a look at that. Any questions, do put them in the comments below, and that would be lovely. And I'll answer them next time. See you very soon. Take care.